the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on this Monday morning. We are glad that you have joined us wherever and whenever it is that you join us here on the Auburn Blitz and make an Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. Brett and Faith here on a very mundane Monday morning as we get things started here. Having to recap yet again another disappointment. But the way Auburn does it gives you a lot to talk about because it's not the same way every single week. It's finding a new way to come in here and discuss a disappointment on a Monday. But Faith, we're not going to let that get us down. We're not going to let this ruin our week. We got a big week ahead of us. We're excited. We got a big day ahead of us with our On the Road show. But unfortunately, we have to start by talking about this junk from Saturday. But it's good to see you this morning.
Hey, it's good to see you too. Yeah, it's disappointing. It's week after week. It's finding a new way to do what Auburn does best. And it's frustrating. And it does put a damper on some things.
It does. We think we set a record on our post-game show for viewers Saturday, and I hate it. You know, I really do. I hate that we have to set a record because Auburn sucks and everybody wants to jump in and air their grievances, which that's what we're there for. It's good for Peppertree because they got a lot of people seeing their brand there, and we're glad. Look,
But you know what you said
for another 2 hours, couldn't we?
Before we started all of this, you and I were talking about it, and you said if we have a good season, I think the show will do really well. If Auburn is not doing well, this show is going to explode.
And here we are.
And you would think in a way it would be one kind of flipped opposite ways.
But it's not. Hey, Tubbs gave us a compliment, said that we look like
That's the nicest thing I think he's ever commented on here. Thank you.
Tubbs just calls it like he sees it, and, you may not agree with everything, but he does. Yeah, Glenn, what the hell? I agree. Had 2 opportunities to get thrown out of the game. At this point, I would have made them throw me out. I would have refused to come off the field.
I was about to go run and pull Kirby Smart off the center of the field. So I almost texted you and said, hey, I might get thrown out. I might get fired. I don't know what you're going to do with me, but I'm actually about to get Kirby Smart and throw him behind the field because I can't keep watching this. This is ridiculous.
We'll talk about Kirby Smart a little bit later. I tweeted something.
Kirby Smart was more on the field than at Oklahoma when they pulled that trick play, that player that ran off to the side. Then he was
way more. Yeah,
the entire game. So they had 12 people on the field at all times.
Oklahoma was trying to be deceptive. I don't think he cared. He wanted to just be out as far. We'll talk about that. It's not about. That's one small element of all of this that we want to get to this morning. I had a lot of people, I know you did too, text about the show Saturday night. And again, we call it like it is. And, that's one thing that we always pride ourselves in here is we don't hide it, good, bad, or indifferent. And MS said, let's face it, though Coach Freeze has lost all mojo, credibility, and confidence, Jackson is basically a mama's boy, inspiring nothing in his teammates, fans, or coaches sit him down. I had more people text me or make a comment on the post-game interview about Jackson Arnold's body language and the nonverbal that he was sitting there biting his fingernails and he was slumped over. Like, look, I told you, I don't think they ought to bring him in there. And we had a pretty prominent reporter who's been a reporter in this state for a long time that I respect that hadn't been at Auburn in a while. And he said, he looked at us and said, was that it for Jackson? I don't Are we not going to get any more from him? He was confused at how that worked. He was confused that, hey, I thought that Jackson Arnold would be like the rest of the players. We get a chance to talk to him. And he said, well, I didn't ask him any questions because he sits up there with Coach Freeze. I said, well, that's how it's
And
always.
he doesn't say anything.
No, he doesn't say anything. He's not allowed to say anything until he's asked a question. Now, you and I both asked him questions before. I didn't have anything to direct to him on Saturday night. And, I guess I'll start there. You and I we kind of predicted what this press conference was going to look like because we've sat through two prior to this. We said, I don't know how this one's going to be in regards to the level of depression if they lose to Georgia, but it was down there like, look, I had to get out of there. I told you, I'm like, the players they brought in didn't want to hardly talk. I don't blame them. I finally looked at you and said, let's just go. We got a show to do and we got to walk, and I'd just rather not be in here. I mean, it's just the whole mood. And that's why I said right now Auburn has a broken culture. This is not about a loss on the field and what the result is. The results are a result of what's going on in this program. The reason the scoreboard doesn't favor Auburn every Saturday in these SEC games and these big games, Faith, is because they're not doing the things they need to do. And I'm saying the coaching staff, whatever, to get the energy level into this team to where they can go out and believe they can win a game. They wait on something bad to happen. It's one of those deals where you got it going so good in the first half. You're like, well, I know this is just too good to be true. When's the ceiling going to fall in? And it fell in right before halftime, and they couldn't recover from it. And this program hasn't been able to recover from anything bad under Hugh Freeze. That's just the bottom line. We've got his record right here in front of us. It's not going to change.
How can you start out a game doing so well, really exposing Georgia where their weaknesses are, go into the second half, completely shut down, let them shut you down, not even try anything, because you also don't have the ball for more than 9 minutes, but
right.
Your only comment is Georgia adjusted to what Auburn was doing.
Did you not know they were going to do that? Did you think they were just going to continue to?
What did you think was going to happen coming out of the half? That you were going to have the ball with the time possession majority of the second half? No.
I mean, so you basically, now props to Auburn, looked like they had gone in and made some changes and some adjustments in the off week, and they caught Georgia off guard, and Georgia couldn't stop it, but you knew they were going to go in and regroup. And when they made the change, Auburn went right back to the same offense we've seen the 2 games prior. And again, I know there was a lot we broke down in the post-game show. There's a lot more that we want to break down here this morning and dive into. But there were multiple opportunities. Okay, Faith, the ending of the first half was horrible. We know that. And we can talk about officials. They're beyond atrocious. I went into a whole thing on that Saturday night. You talked about them Saturday night. I'm sick of that. Here's the point. You're at home in an environment, and it's second to none. You're still up. You kick off to them, start the second half, and you hold them. Defense comes out and holds them, and you get the ball back, and you can't move the ball at all, and you come up with a bizarre fourth down play you go for, and it was a horrible, like the whole thing was out of whack, and the pass that Jackson threw to Preston Howard was terrible. He couldn't wrangle it in, and it was kind of like from then on, you kind of saw where this team, there's no killer instinct. There's no pissed off. I was talking to some people yesterday.
On the offense, I don't think there's pissed off.
No, well, right. There's not on that side, but I had somebody come up to me at church yesterday and say, back in the day, if Auburn would have had something happen to it, like at the end of the first half, they would have gone, all right, that's it. They'd have come out in the second half and said, that just fuels our fire to do better and to come out and beat their brains out even worse than we're doing now. Instead, you collapse and go into a shell. I don't know where Auburn lost their killer instinct. It had to be from the Brian Harsin era into the Hugh Freeze era. Like, we don't need to talk about Brian Harsin anymore because Hugh Freeze is 2.5 years into his tenure at Auburn, and he hasn't been able to change the culture either. He's as much to blame now as anybody because the results are the results. I mean, 4-17 overall, 14-17 overall, 5-14 in the SEC play. 5-14. Faith, didn't Gus Malzahn have 5 SEC wins his last season at Auburn? I had to have had because I think Auburn went 5-5 in 2020, and that was the COVID year, and we only played 10 games. So and you only played SEC teams. He's won 5 games in 2.5 years, and he's 9-9 in the lore of Jordan Hare, where it was it's so hard to come in here and win, but he's 9-9 at home. Like, what is your opinion on this culture? I mean, you see it just like I do. It's like they've forgotten how they've forgotten the history and the prestige of this program. It's like it's disappeared.
Auburn football is not something anyone is scared of coming into Jordan Hare or if Auburn's going there. I'm sure Mercer is looking at this team saying,
got a chance, man.
We have a chance. We can go in Jordan Hare and actually expose them and take off with their weaknesses. We get to that. We just need to make it through the first half. Once we get through the first half, the second half is ours. We're gonna be able to take over there. What?
I mean, there's just so many. Okay, into the game. Once again, Jackson Arnold misses a guy to make a play. You know, Eric Singleton and got behind the defender. And at some point in time, you got to realize that he's not capable of hitting a guy down the field. And there's an opportunity amongst all of the things that had gone wrong. You still in the fourth quarter had a chance to make a play there, down 13-10, and take the lead back, Faith, and they can't do it. I mean, we've watched at Oklahoma. They take the lead with 7 minutes to go in the game. They give up a touchdown, and they have plenty of time to come down and score. They can't even get a first down to get a drive going. Texas A&M. You hold the defense holds. Texas A&M should have blown Auburn off the field, but somehow you look up, it's 16-10, and you got the ball a couple of times with a chance to win on the road. Can't get a first down. Okay, so you take a week off, and you go into this game coming to home, and you're playing a Georgia team that's not a world beater team by any stretch. And you get off to a great start. You have something bad happen before half, and you just mail it in. You just go, the hell with the second half. I can't believe we got screwed again. Here we go. And you muster up 40 yards of offense in the second half. 40. You had 15 first downs in the first half. You had 3 in the second half, and 2 of them came in garbage time. So you had 1 meaningful first down. So, look, I'm with you. You said this leaving the stadium. All of these kids running around out here playing, tag football and stuff that are 9 years and younger, they've never seen Auburn beat Georgia in this rivalry. It's 9 years now. Like, this is stuff, and I'm no offense to Ole Miss and Mississippi State and teams like that, but that's kind of stuff that you used to hear about with teams like that and programs like that. You never hear of a team running off 9 in a row against an Auburn or an Alabama or a Georgia or a Florida or whatever, or Tennessee. I mean, Auburn was always in that conversation. Now you can't say that any longer. You're in a rivalry where you have been trounced for the last 2 decades.
It's disappointing and also very frustrating when us people can see the problem, and fans, you guys can all see the problem. And for some reason, the coaching can't make that change, or they don't think that's the problem, or
I want to talk about, not to cut you off, but I know there's a point that I'm about to bring up that you're gonna go on a little bit of a diatribe about, because you've been there and you've watched it. I want to talk about a few of our partners first, but we got some major points we want to bring up here on the program this morning. And I see all of your comments. Faith sees them too. I know we're going to get to some of those. We can't get to all of them. Again, that we do have a super chat option. If you want your comment read or you want to get jump to the top, you can do the super chat, and we'd love to. Not saying you have to, but we try to get to as many comments as we possibly can. But some of our partners here on the program, Sensa Green.
Sensa Green for air that's cool and clean this fall during dollar days. Call Sensa Green for major discounts on HVAC repairs and installs, plus installation with Professor Greenbacks. Get HVAC Smart at sensagreen.com through Thanksgiving with up to $100 off HVAC repairs, $500 off installation work, and $1,500 off a new HVAC system. Sensa Green with Carrier, turn to the experts. How cool are these coupons?
You said Thanksgiving, we'll blink, it'll be here. Man, it's almost here.
Gosh.
That's wild. Scout Program Management, a full construction management firm in Birmingham, Alabama. Man, they are working on so many big projects here in the state of Alabama. Educational projects, new school builds, athletic facilities. If you have a major project that you're planning, you need to hire a program management company just like Scout Program Management. They are the ones to lead you from start to finish. I say it every day here on the program. They're the best in the business. Just go ask their customers. They'll tell you that. Scout Program Management in Birmingham.
Bunkers in downtown Auburn. If you want to go somewhere to watch these games that you can't go to Jordan-Hare, go to Bunkers and you can go. They've got great deals all the time. $1 Jello shots. Some days they have $1 wings. It's crazy that you can't find any of that in downtown Auburn for those prices. And the atmosphere there is so awesome. They've got live music most Friday nights. So go to Bunkers in downtown Auburn, 50 parking spaces. You can't find that anywhere either.
We love Bunkers. There's no question about it. Comments coming in. We're going to get to them. Again, we'll go through some of these. I want to talk about what Lane Kiffin said this past weekend. Did you see the crowd at Vaught Hemingway Stadium? Did you see the student section?
I have told you multiple times that, and I was even telling someone at the game on Saturday, talking about the different stadiums, we've been to, or like that I've been to. The Vault is one of, like, it's already small. Nobody goes. The student section's awful. They don't have a bunch of tradition. And Reese and JT, everyone gets really upset with me saying that because it's just not, I seriously am not the biggest fan of it. And their student section showing up for that game the way that, they did, even though that they weren't playing the best football.
Why does it matter who you're playing when you're having the success Ole Miss is having right now under Lane Kiffin?
Auburn's student section week after week is full, and it's not just the pledge.
Way prior to kickoff, by the way.
Yes, and it's not just the fraternity and sororities where like you have to stay there for the whole game. It's the entire section. Then you've got people going up to the nosebleeds and packing that out too for the students. Auburn has such a big fandom that shows up each week for this kind of football.
This is my point. You want to know, Ole Miss, why you have a coach like Lane Kiffin that continues to get up behind the podium and will take the next better job that he can find? Is because of this. He's saying, "Oh, we're doing everything. We've given you a run at Ole Miss like you've never seen before, and you can't even fill up the stadium. You're so ungrateful that you can't fill up the stadium." Auburn's the opposite. Auburn just comes back for more lashes. Their fans show up to get abused more and more. They pack out. This is 4 years of Auburn fans showing up to a very mediocre product, if not poor product. If Ole Miss were on a 4-year losing streak and getting their brains beat out like Auburn gets beat out sometimes, and 9-9 at home, you think what would their stadium look like then? I mean, it's half empty now. And that's kind of what Lane Kiffin's saying. Like, Auburn fans, and I say it all the time, I say it all the time, Auburn fans deserve better than what they're getting because they keep showing up and they keep going through the hell they're going through. But at some point in time, there's going to be a breaking point. At some point in time, I said this on the show Saturday night. I said, somebody's going to say, I got a wall to paint. I've got my gutters to clean out. And when you start debating whether you're going to go to watch Auburn with your season tickets or you need to stay home and trim the shrubs and clean out your gutters and blow leaves in the front yard, then you've lost them. And at some point in time, that's going to happen because just like you and I doing the same thing we do every Saturday, working our butt off, we don't get to go sit with our families. We don't get to go tailgate like we used to. I get to go sit in the press box. You're on the sideline. We're working. We're working on a Saturday while everybody else is playing and having fun, which is great. We signed up for this. I'm not complaining about it. But my point is the people that are playing and having a good time and tailgating and go through all the effort to do all that and the ordeal that you have to go through on Saturdays to get up early and get down there and fight traffic and set all that stuff up and then break it all down and go home. People are going to say, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it anymore. It's not worth it.
Traveling from out of state.
It's going to hit at some point. Is it going to hit Saturday? Missouri is another night game.
That's the other thing, Brett. I mean, Auburn keeps having these night games that is supposed to be,
you beg for night games.
night.
You want night games. You beg for night games, and the schedule set up perfect.
And Auburn still can't do it.
I mean, so at what point, again, this is not about coming up short against Georgia or being on the road against it's kind of like what we said a couple of weeks ago. It's not about the loss. It's about how you lost. It's how you got to the end result. And Auburn finds different ways to screw it up. I don't know any other nicer way to put it. And it's always like you're looking for an excuse of, oh, well, it was on the road against 2 top 10 teams. How did Oklahoma do against a very average Texas team Saturday? Anybody want to bring that up? Now, I know John Mateer's hurt, which, by the way, they shouldn't have played him with basically a dislocated thumb or whatever he's dealing with. And it was apparent he was not very effective. But, I mean, that's not some world beater Oklahoma team. You just didn't make the plays. You did not make the plays. And I think Auburn fans are some of the best at giving their team the benefit of the doubt or looking for the silver lining. The Auburn fans are tired of that now. They can't even find a silver lining anymore, Faith. But going back to what Lane Kiffin said, I mean, how unbelievable is the environment? And I told you, and you knew it. We said you'd think Auburn was number 3 in the country and undefeated.
Yep.
If you didn't know what the records were in previous games and all this kind of stuff. I mean, they show up. But when is that going to stop is the question. Is it going to stop after Saturday? Is there a change looming coming up? You and I got to go to football practice tomorrow. I mean, what do you think the energy level is going to be in there?
That's what I'm most excited to see. What's the energy going to be like? Is there going to be a difference in maybe the rhythm of things going on? Or, I mean, I don't know.
Right. Well, we're going to get an up-close in personal view. At some point in time, the defensive side of the ball has played well enough to win all these games. And I don't think there's a single quitter. None of this is directed toward the players. I don't think there's a single quitter on that team. But at some point in time, when your goals and aspirations have been taken away from you because of the situation you're in, the play you might have gone 110, you might go 80%. And then as it gets later in the game, you may go, well, you know what? I'm not running down a back when he gets 15 yards behind me to save a touchdown. Why am I doing it? I'm just throwing that out there because I just know I just know what the mentality is of guys that compete. And when they have everything taken away from them, you start questioning, why am I doing this? And so I had a lot of people, and you did too, this weekend say, well, what do you think about the players? What is their mindset? It had people texting about recruiting. This is not going to look good. I said, I'm not worried about recruiting because Auburn's got a good roster now, and they're not winning. Why are we worried about recruiting? To bring more players in, to not do the things that needs to be done to have success? I'm not worried about next year's class. I hope Auburn has a great class. You know that. I know you do too. We want to continue. That's another thing. Auburn's continued to recruit at a high level despite the run that they're on right now over the last 4.5 years. But at some point, the faucet's going to cut off. The recruiting, that's going to cut. The fans showing up, that's going to cut off until something's changed. And I don't know what the change needs to be, Faith. I know on the surface it needs to be probably Hugh Freeze. But outside of that, I don't know what it's a culture problem. This is across multiple coaches. This dates back to the end of Malzahn's tenure through the disaster of Brian Harsin to where we're sitting now as 2.5 years into Hugh Freeze. What in your mind needs to change from your perspective? What do you see that I may be missing?
I don't know. Seriously, I don't know. Are these boosters and donors behind all of this seeing something differently than we are?
I don't know.
Because there's been an AD change.
There has been. There's been AD change. There's been multiple football coaching changes.
I don't know what the answer is.
I don't either. And I hate to say this, but bad things happen to programs that can't make their own way. That's the nicest way I can put it. Instead of fighting back, Auburn rolls over and dies now. And they don't have any fight. So it's like I said earlier, they just expect something bad to happen. When it does, they can't recover. They cannot recover from it. And Saturday night was probably the best example of that I've ever seen. And it was kind of the nail in the coffin for me because you were about to go up 17-0. We haven't even talked about the technicalities of the game really that much this morning, Faith, because we did that Saturday night. But yeah, Jackson Arnold scored. It's apparent that he scored. Everybody in the booth said he scored. Greg McElroy and Sean McDonough said he scored. I looked on Twitter and everybody, Clay Travis and dadgum Brad Nessler and everybody, Alabama fans were all going, man, I'm not an Auburn fan, but that was terrible. It was just one after another after another. It was another, refereeing blunder. But you know what you need to do if you're Jackson Arnold? Don't have the ball get poked out. Hold on to the football, and you won't have this controversy. See, it's the little things that you're not getting taken care of. So you go up 17-0. Yeah, is the mindset different? Are things different? Probably so. But at the end of the day, you still have the lead. You're still at home. You still got this raucous crowd behind you, and you just pass it off and go, well, there it was. That was our chance. They stole it from us. Let's go into the lot. Auburn might as well not even come out in the second half.
Michael brings up a good point. Change going after other teams benched quarterbacks. I remember after the first game at Baylor with Jackson Arnold in the game that he had. You know, Hugh Freeze was asked, did you always see that inside of Jackson Arnold, even though, he was benched at Oklahoma? And he said, yeah, I looked back to his high school film. I saw some of his earlier film. I knew he always had it in him. He's that kind of kid. High school.
Right.
High school. We talk about Jaquez Wilkes all the time playing at a 1A school. He's not going to be seeing that same kind of competition. High school. And you're recruiting a senior in college making
junior, I think.
Whatever.
But an upperclassman in
an
college.
upperclassman who's already gone through
removed from his high school days.
Why are you looking? I get looking there in a sense of seeing, okay, he can do these kind of things, but if what he didn't do at Oklahoma, you think he can do at Auburn? I know they had a different offensive line. I know things are all kind of different. Showcasing certain things, obviously shown now that he has not changed that much since Oklahoma, because look at the last 3 games. Right. I don't understand the same thing with Peyton Thorne, why you're going after him. Go after somebody that has proven themselves and not proven themselves to get benched.
How about develop your own quarterback? How about that for
Deuce Knight? Are you going to develop him, or is he just going to be here for a year and then transfer out and go somewhere else? That's the first thing I said when Deuce Knight was on campus. And I said, are they actually going to be able to develop him? Because look at what happened with Bo Nix.
It's the truth.
Underdeveloped and transferred somewhere else and did so much better.
The first step of change is admitting your problems, right? And we're all here for it. Hey, if you continue to come up with excuses of why you suck, then you're going to continue to suck. But if you face them and you start saying the same thing, we got some really good comments coming in. I know we want to read some of them, and we'll go back. I'm going to go back to some of the ones prior because, man, there's just a bunch, and I'm going to try to hit a few. Let's see. Brad said that Hugh Freeze has made Jordan-Hare one of the least intimidating places to play in the country. It's sad. It's the truth. We just said it. He's 9-9 at home. Glenn said, crossroads question. What's a fix to save the season? I don't know a fix to save this season. I cannot believe I'm sitting here on Monday, October 13th, and we're having the same freaking discussion with the rock and everything. I go back to everything you and I talked about preseason, Faith. This roster breaking everything down. It feels like yesterday we were getting ready to go to the Baylor game and talking about that, and then coming back off that trip thinking, man, this does look different. It feels different. Auburn, it finds a way to get right back in the tank again. So I don't know if there's a fix this season, Glenn. You got Missouri coming in. They're a pretty good football team. They're not a world beater team either. But we're to the point now where we're concerned about Missouri coming into Auburn and playing in Jordan-Hare Stadium. Cole says, coaching at all levels. The mental game is so hard to coach. Our mental game is so awful. It's where it is. It's horrendous. It's a culture. Like everybody feeds off of. We had somebody, one of our good friends on the sideline, Faith, say everything kind of rains down from the mood of the head coach. And, instead of you turn into the woe is me, we get picked on, we can't catch a break, and that permeates your team. And that's kind of what Hugh Freeze has done is instead of firing everybody up and getting out there, it's kind of like, well, there it was, guys. We got hosed again. It's what else can you say? Stephen brings up a good point. You and I talked about the SEC needs some transparency. Like the ACC.
They need to be doing the reviews like the ACC does and having that be live streamed there so that you can see the thought process. You can hear why they think. Whether or not you agree with it, you can at least hear and see what they have to say. If they're saying that Jackson Arnold didn't have full possession or whatever going
Let's hear
over.
the discussion. Let's hear
What?
the discussion. Yeah, let's hear the discussion.
Oh, yeah.
While you're watching. Yes.
Right. If that's what you're talking about, or when they're going back and seeing, if the catch was complete or not, and then they see targeting, how is this all getting brought up? What's the thought behind it? Because then maybe you can have people agree with you. Maybe then you don't have to have statements come out. Maybe then you don't have to have everyone getting upset with you.
Jamie said we'd be better with Albie at quarterback. No, maybe Albie could hit a pass downfield. Tub said, I've been to every road game this year, and I'm here to tell you there's nothing like Auburn's fan base and then showing up to games. It's not. You and I have been there. We've been – look, I was so disappointed in Oklahoma. I don't know what I had built up in my mind of Oklahoma because they've got a ton of tradition. Man, it was good, but it wasn't anything special, like nothing. And then you go to Kyle Field. I was kind of blown away by the stadium, but the environment, they were fine. But this wasn't some overwhelming experience. Again, I think you get spoiled. And then when you go to these places and you hear about all this stuff, and then you come home, you go, man, ain't nobody got it better than us. Nobody's got it better than us. And it's like, how do you continue to put a product out here like this? It just didn't make any sense. Tubbs went on to say the stadium was rocking Saturday. After that blow-up sack from Woodyard, sent chills. Don't underestimate our fan base. Again, it'll be back in Missouri. I mean, I have no doubt, Tubbs, that the fans will show up once again for Missouri. They're invested. They've proven that. John said, am I campaigning for Lane Kiffin to come to Auburn? He's not coming to Auburn. Now, after he continues to see that, he may be looking to go wherever. And his daughter may go, I don't want you to go. And he may be like, I don't care what you say anymore. I stayed the last time, and I'm not going to stay any longer because obviously over here nobody cares. So I'm not saying that he will leave, but I know Lane Kiffin type, he's sending a message when he's saying that. He was asked the question. He said, well, I thought it showed up about as good as our student section did today. I mean, he deflected it immediately. He's pissed off because he has done a really good job at Ole Miss and put them in a situation they've never really been in. And their fans still don't freaking show up, man. So saw a lot of empty seats in LSU Saturday night. Death Valley, tough place to play at home at night. Somebody tweeted out a picture of that place, and there's empty seats everywhere for a night game, SEC night game in Death Valley. I mean, I don't know what the mentality is of all these other fan bases, but Auburn's, we sit here and just get beat down, and they continue to pack the place out. All right, so Resiglio says, Brett and Faith, if you are going to fire Freeze, you have to do it now. Remember that there's only one NIL window. Well, actually, it's a portal window after this season, and it's December. And that's a good point. You know why heads rolled yesterday, Faith? Because people are getting in place. And what did I say to you coming out of the stadium? If it's inevitable, do it immediately. What are you waiting on? If you think that you've moved on mentally, and you think that it's best for this program to go in another direction, what are you waiting on? You waiting on a miraculous turnaround this season? You think things are all of a sudden going to just turn around with a win over Missouri? I don't know. Maybe they could. But how much longer how many more weeks are going to go by, and how many more coaches are going to get fired at other places, and how many more universities are going to position themselves? Because I'm going to pull up something here you and I are going to talk about in a second about all the potential jobs that may be open this year. And now you're going to be fighting for that. So that's kind of the thing to be thinking about in the back of your mind. Luke said, reminds me of Shula Chris Capps. The player is bad and gets criticism at first, maybe for a while, but eventually the guy who continues to out that player there has to be blamed. I 100% agree, Luke. I mean, this is not really about the players. If the players aren't performing, Faith, it's the coaches, right?
Yep.
Name a great QB that Auburn University developed in the last 15 years, Chad said. Can you name one, Faith?
That they developed?
Yeah, that they actually developed. That's what he's asking. Can you name one?
Nope.
No, there's not one. I think we always go back to Brandon Cox was the last quarterback that Auburn went out and got in high school that you saw make progressions and get better while he was at Auburn. Luke said seniors, and we talked about that Sunday, didn't we? I mean Saturday.
Yep.
There's your wins for Auburn seniors. I mean, it's an unparalleled time that we're in. All right, so let's look at the coaching potentials that are going to be out there. Faith, you got that list.
Yeah, so Penn State.
Obviously, Penn State's out. Yep.
Florida, Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech, UCLA, Arkansas. And they said Auburn is going to come available, and I wouldn't rule out Oklahoma being available, then a surprise or two.
Is that and there could be even more.
Yeah.
I know UAB's not on the same page as any of those programs, but they finally got rid of that disaster. Gosh almighty. What a disaster that was with Trent Dilfer. But I want you to look at all those programs you just named.
It's bizarre knowing how different college football has turned into, not only with the players and NIL, but the coaching too.
Right.
Because was it like this, back when you were in school and growing up or anything like that?
No, not at all.
Because even thinking about it 5 to 10 years ago.
It was such a shock, Faith, if you ever fired somebody mid-year. I remember when Bill Oliver took over for Terry Bowden toward the end of the season. I was there for it. I set the press conference up in Jordan-Hare Stadium when that happened. I did that as a student assistant, and I remember the shock, and because everybody's like, I cannot believe they parted ways. You always rode the coach out to the end of the season, and you made a change at the end of the season. Now it's not uncommon 5-6 weeks into the season, guys go, I can't do this anymore. Penn State got rid of James Franklin, and there's only like 3 coaches active right now that have more wins than him in current college football. One of them's Kirby Smart. I can go to I have that stat somewhere, but I mean, it's crazy. And that man's won so many. And just a few weeks ago, I tweeted that out. He had Penn State in the top 5 in the country. And they had Oregon on the ropes on the road in overtime and lost, and now you don't have a job. And Penn State's like, because we see a pattern here, and then that UCLA game was maybe the straw that broke the camel's back. But I'm telling you, man, you can't rule out Florida State. Florida State could still go in the tank. They're still coming off of a terrible season last year. I know they've had some, but they've had a rocky road since the Alabama game. Is Kentucky going to hold on to Mark Stoops? What about Wisconsin? They suck. I mean, look at all the big programs that are going to be possibly looking for coaches. Luke said Missouri's environment was worst SEC environment I've ever seen by a long shot. The best SEC places on Saturday are originals. Even Mississippi State can be fantastic on game days. Yeah,
I was wondering, were they doing construction or something at Missouri?
They are in both end zones. Yep.
Because I was wondering about that.
Yeah, they are. But you think about what Luke just said there. I mean, Missouri, they had a problem winning the last 2 or 3 years. They ain't had a problem going up there. I mean, tip of the hat to Eli Drinkwitz for doing, I mean, off the hoof, if you look and listed all the SEC programs, you'd go, that would be one of the hardest to always compete at because of its location, of its facilities, just of the fan base and all that. Not having a problem. Auburn's got one of the best environments, one of the best fan bases, some of the best facilities, and they get this program. They get a 9-9 at home the last 3 years. Beth said, "Bring back Cadillac." I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. But you know what you did have when Cadillac was here was some energy. You had some want to get out there, and they played emotionally for him. I think. I don't think that's sustainable over time. I could be wrong. But what do I know? John said maybe the line technology used in professional tennis would be helpful in judging the lines on football field. Isn't baseball using something like that? Yeah, I mean, they are, John. Why are we in 2025 and we got all these technology, all these gadgets, and we can't figure out if somebody broke the plane or not?
NFL is using something AI, something for first downs and stuff too.
They are. I know it. I mean,
Like,
but we go back to we're going to pull a chain out and try to measure a first
no,
down.
we're going to go to Birmingham and see what they have to say.
Yeah, it always works out well if you're Auburn, by the way. Heath said Hugh emotionally spent after a horribly officiated first half. J.A. cannot hit an open receiver. The booth call down should be abolished. It obviously shakes the crew on the field. The white hat was shook worse than Hugh. The head coach gets paid to lead, not to crumble. Can't argue with any of that. Look, I'm getting to the point with officials. If you have to review that much, then why even have them out there? Just go to a robot. And I hate to say that, but if you cannot see if somebody's lined up all sides, which is very apparent, half of Georgia's team on that goal line thing was off sides. Like, that's where the play should have been blown dead from the beginning. It's like obvious things are being missed now by officials. Oh, let's go review it. It's almost like they go, well, it doesn't matter if we screw it up. We can go to the monitor and we can correct it. It's almost like it's a crutch now. But it's destroyed the flows of games. 32 minutes of real time in the last 2 minutes of the first half, Faith. 32 minutes it took to finish the first half. I mean,
It was insane.
right. Glenn said 50 million to get fired. I said that yesterday on Twitter. I said it's the American dream. Be a fired football coach in college. Get you a good contract. And then go sell off into the sunset, not have to worry about anything. Yeah, Lonnie, I was thinking of Stidham, but Stidham was already good at Baylor. He saved Gus Malzahn's job. I said that Saturday night. If Gus Malzahn didn't go out and get Jarrett Stidham to come in 2017, he's fired that year. But he saved Gus Malzahn's job and got him a big payday. So if anybody should be thankful to Jarrett Stidham for what he's got, it should be Gus Malzahn. Because if you'll remember 15 and 16, his seat was as hot as anybody's. PJ said, when is Auburn's fans going to get fed up with Coach Freeze before they start renewing? I just said that earlier, didn't I?
Yep.
When are they going to stop showing up?
Probably
that speaks louder than anything out there. It's when butts in seats stop showing up. Luke said Missouri is doing construction, but no excuse. Their fans were nicest in conference. Just zero electricity about the biggest game at home for them in years. You either got it or you don't. And Alabama and Auburn and Florida and Tennessee, and Georgia, unfortunately, those fans are rabid. And that's why the programs have sustained success. There may be downtimes. Alabama had their downtimes. Luke just talked about them. They ain't had them in a long time, but they had them. Georgia's had their downtimes. Tennessee's been on a run of downtimes. We're in one of the worst we've ever been in, but they don't stay long because the program will not allow that to sustain itself. If you've never had tradition like a Missouri, like an Ole Miss, like a Mississippi State, and you don't have anything, it would be easy to go, okay, this is just the norm around here. It's starting to become the norm around Auburn because everything's there, but the product on the field's not. Marcel said, have you ever seen a timeout called by a coach, then the coach say he was clapping? I mean, I know Faith's silent because she's just so mad. And I'm not laughing at you, Faith. I feel terrible. It's just absurd. And look, even Alabama
Kirby
fans,
can do whatever Kirby wants to do. That's
seems-
it. Seriously.
it seems like it.
Kirby thinks he is God.
You know, the problem is that he went in there and acted like everybody was an idiot and told them that I wasn't saying I was calling a timeout.
He said Auburn's clapping. Auburn's clapping.
I mean, I'm just like, how stupid do you really think everybody is? And how arrogant are you to just say whatever the hell you want to say when you're caught on camera doing it the opposite?
He thinks he is God's gift from earth. God handcrafted him better than every single person. And ever since Nick Saban has been gone,
Look,
Kirby
I
Smart.
appreciate his coaching. I think he's a great coach. But guess what? You can be an a-hole and be a good coach. But you can also be, I'm not saying you got to be everybody's buddy, but he just comes off as a prick. He's condescending, and he is, I mean, he just has that, and maybe he didn't care, and obviously he doesn't.
No, he does not.
He doesn't care, but he's
if
a
he
narcissist.
heard this, he'd be like, look at where I am and look at where you are.
He's a narcissist, and it's fine. You know, again, I gave him credit. He can coach. He can coach the hell out of it. He's a good coach. Not who I'd want to model myself after as a person, for sure. But you can win football games, and that's fine. And as long as you win in football games, everybody's willing to overlook all the other stuff. All right. Lonnie said South Carolina has loyal fans, and they've sucked. Yeah, they can't. They have no banners. They're another fan base that keeps coming back for more, hoping that the next week's going to be the week they finally get over the hump. No, doesn't happen. So, all right, let's get to some more of our partners here on the program. We appreciate them so much. Old Number One Customs for any of your home remodels, kitchen, bathroom, bedroom. If you got an outdoor living space that you're planning on or thinking about, you need to call Old Number One Customs. They'll come out and they'll knock it out for you. Man, I've got a surprise coming for everybody this week, and I can't wait to show everybody. I've already given you a sneak peek, Faith. Sent you the video. They did a great job. I can't say nothing but unbelievable things about Old Number One Customs. You check them out there on Facebook, Instagram for your next remodeling project.
JFA Blue Plumbing, go ahead and get the Home Atlas Water Filter Duo for just $15.99. It is so important to have filtered water and to know that you're getting purified, filtered, clean water throughout every single faucet in your house. So call on JFA Blue at 844-JFA-BLUE. Oliver Ross, if you've got a tailgate, a wedding, a sorority or fraternity day party, Oliver Ross is the certified and licensed bartending service for you. They are professionals. They are going to be able to get in and set all their stuff up and then break it down and leave after and clean up after themselves. Super important to have professional bartenders. You want to be able to focus on entertainment and hosting for your event that's going on. So let Oliver Ross take care of the bartending.
A lot of sorrows drowned again on Saturday. Compliments of Oliver Ross. And Russell Medical Center here in Alexander City, voted one of the top 3 best hospitals in Alabama. Hey, you got the small town, but you got the big time city healthcare availability. And that's what you're looking for quality healthcare, great doctors, great facilities. Russell Medical Center on Highway 280 in Alexander City. You need to check them out. And again, not having to go through the hassle of getting through a big city and doing all that kind of stuff. You can go right to Russell Medical Center. They're partnered with UAB Medicine out of Birmingham. Check them out. We're glad to have them part of the program. Okay, Faith, to kind of close things out here. We'll be at practice tomorrow. So we'll be back with everybody before that. But Chad said Auburn wins out 9-3. Have a good day. Have a good Columbus Day. Yep. Love the positivity. We got to cling to something. Well, it starts, I guess, Saturday. We just keep saying that over and over, don't we? With Missouri, can Hugh Freeze turn this thing around from the path he's been on for 2.5 years? I have no confidence in that. I'm definitely, no pun intended, Missouri. Show me. We're about to see. It's going to be the show me state for sure on Saturday. You got anything to add, Faith, before we get off this morning?
Nope.
We got to get you perked up. It's got to get you removed from this weekend. It sucks.
I told you I don't think my pride can take it, and here we are.
Yep. It stings for sure. Think you're finally going to get over the hump, and it just didn't happen. So, all right, we'll trudge forward. Again, I'll let you send us out.
Hope everybody has the best day, best Columbus Day ever.
Yeah, some people are off work today, so enjoy your day off. If you're off,
Yeah.
we're not off. We're about to go film a show, so looking forward to it. But everybody have a great day out there and do something nice for people, and we'll see you tomorrow for more of the Auburn Blue.